Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. Labor Day is just around the corner, and that means it's time for one of my favorite Detroit traditions. The 38th annual Detroit Jazz Festival, presented by Quicken Loans, takes place over the holiday weekend. An estimated 250,000 people will visit downtown Detroit for the free event that features a world-class lineup of performers ranging from jazz legends to rising stars. Here to tell us more is Chris Collins. He's the president and artistic director of the Detroit Jazz Festival Foundation, along with Jasmin Deforrest from Rock Ventures and drummer Gayelynn McKinney, who is the festival's hometown artist. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as I said, Chris, you know this. This is one of my favorite weekends in Detroit. I just love the Jazz Festival, and it's not just the music, it's the tradition of it, and the fact that we do this in the middle of downtown Detroit, and all of these people show up and have such a great time.
Yeah, and you know, people always talk about where are all these people in the jazz clubs?
Yeah.
Because that's the side that's quick to look at. But I look at it differently. We put on a jazz festival, a real jazz festival, and it draws 250 to 300,000 people in the name of jazz to the middle of downtown Detroit. Not a field outside the city, but amongst the architecture, the riverfront. And we play music on 4 stages for 4 days with all the greats, upcoming artists, our amazing hometown legacy artists. And we produce something that I think brings us all a little closer together through this wonderful, you know, hometown tradition.
Yeah, 38 years, that's a long time. How's the festival changed over that time?
Well, you know, I always like to start with what stayed the same, which it's still free.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that's really important because a lot of festivals have not been able to maintain that kind of access.
It's a real challenge, but thanks to our sponsors, including for the second time in a row,
Quicken.
We'll get to that presenting sponsor, right? But we have a lot of individual donors and a lot of support from throughout the community. Our great volunteers who work, they help to keep it free every year. And the ways it's changed, you know, the footprint has expanded this year, as in past years. We're now from Hart Plaza all the way up Woodward into Campus Martius Park. We have 4 stages with our talk tent and, of course, our legendary jam sessions that go from 11 till about 2 a.m. in the Marriott Hotel. So a lot of that has continued to amplify and enrich, and we work on creating an environment that is not only great for the artists, but great for families to come down and really share some kitchen table talk about what they saw, what they heard, and what they experienced in the great city of Detroit, the Jazz Festival.
Well, and you've got live streaming now because we have the internet and all that sort of thing.
That's
you don't have to come downtown, although you should, and take part in the festival, but you can watch from home.
You can, and thanks to the Doris Duke Foundation and a lot of other wonderful companies, we were able to create this infrastructure last year, and now you can stream all 4 days, all 4 stages. You register, it's live.detroitjazzfest.org, and Detroit Jazz Fest Live is the app. You download it, you have the streaming service for $10, you get all days. Send it to your friends around the country. If someone can't leave their house because of a physical issue that weekend, they can still enjoy the festival on all their mobile devices. It's a real coup, and for me, I love it because if you're at the festival footprint, you're down at Chase, you want to know what's happening at Hart Plaza, watch it on your app.
Take it out and look at it on your phone. Right. Jasmin, this is Quicken's second year
it is.
Involved, and this happens, of course, right in your front yard, so it makes a lot of sense for you to be a sponsor. Talk about how important this is to what else is going on downtown. Yeah,
I mean, at Quicken, we are very proud to be a sponsor again this year, the presenting sponsor. We are, and we consider ourselves to be a for more than profit, which means that we do believe in doing good in the community. And the Detroit Jazz Festival is one of those events that brings out such a diverse audience, all ages, shapes, sizes, colors, who come to Detroit. 25% are coming in from outside of the state of Michigan. And so this is an opportunity for us to really rally around the Jazz Fest Foundation, Gretchen and her great work, and support an event that is really shining a great spotlight on our city.
Yeah. I mean, the number of people downtown, I live downtown, so it just seems to grow every day. I mean, it seems silly to say that, but literally when I go outside each day, it seems like there are more and more people trying to be part of this. I feel like the Jazz Festival is just going to keep growing because of that, too.
We hope so, because I mean, you have, as Chris mentioned, the wonderful footprint that includes Cadillac Square all the way down to Hart Plaza. But there are definitely opportunities, I'm sure, as a festival we hope will grow to expand to other areas in the city. And the Jazz Fest does a great job year-round with doing programming in different areas and different communities in Detroit. And so that's one of the other reasons why we enjoy supporting it. But again, we have 17,000 team members. So even just for Quicken Loan's presence alone,
right.
In our family of companies in the downtown area, it's amazing. And it's also amazing to see people coming in from out of town, different cities, to live in Detroit, not only tour, but to live in Detroit. Yeah. So, and I'm a native Detroiter, so I love it.
No, it's really cool, right? Gayelynn, I am, of course, a fan of your music. I've seen you a couple of times performing. Talk about what it means to be the hometown artist at this festival.
Well, I just want to tell you, she's absolutely right about them coming in from different places. I was performing in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago with Vanessa Rubin, and there's some people there that said, "Oh yeah, we're getting ready to gear up and go to Detroit."
We're coming to Detroit, right?
For the Jazz Festival. I said, "All right, well, you'll see me there."
See you, right?
Yeah, so it's you know, it's nice to see what's happening in Detroit and how it's starting to come back to life.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has a lot to do with the festival. People really do love this festival and come from everywhere to come to it, and it's free, so that's a bonus.
Right.
And as far as what she was saying about also how Gretchen has really reached out there and helped the community, a prime example of that is that she has the Detroit Jazz Foundation, which allows me and a lot of other musicians to go into the schools. Yeah. So I do a residency every year at the Detroit Public Schools, which has been really fun and fabulous working with the kids. You know, so you know it's between her and some of the other business people around here, they're really starting to got the train going.
Yeah, right, right. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. But when you talk about homegrown jazz artists, I mean, there are lots of people who fit that description. But I mean, you occupy a really special place in that tradition, not just because of the work that you do, but the people who brought you up. And I'm not just talking about your father, Darren, who was amazing and quite well known, but also the other people like Marcus Belgrave.
Yeah.
You really come absolutely out of that Detroit tradition.
Yeah, Dad, by the way, his name is Harold.
Harold, I'm sorry. I got that wrong, Harold.
That's all right, that's okay. Dad, you know, Dad years ago, he was one of the first people to play at the festival when it was called Montreux, and he was one of the first people to be a part of not only the performance of it, but he kind of was helping in the organizing of it a little bit too. Yeah. And so he was really loved by the city, so much so they gave him a street sign.
Right. That's why I should know he's Harold, right?
No. I do have a cousin, Darren, who's also a musician.
Yeah, he's a musician.
But he gave a lot as far as his goal was to make sure that young people knew about jazz. And he could have left and gone to New York like a lot of the his other compadres did, but he decided to stay here and make jazz important here and teach it to the kids. And that's when he came up with the Scholastic magazine that was put in the schools to teach about jazz. And then, of course, he was a staple here at the festival for many years doing Discover Jazz, which was basically aimed at children and teaching them about jazz in an edutainment kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk a little more about that next generation of jazz artists in a little bit.